Good day, guys. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing my round 8 tips plus predictions and the review, of course, coming up first. So we're going to get straight into this one. So the round started off with the Saints versus Port Adelaide. Now, in that game, apart from the first quarter kicking 32 points, we were really just atrocious. We choked a little bit. We let Port Adelaide come back. And yeah, while it wasn't too much of a disappointing loss, when you lose by 7 points, you can't say it's disappointing. But yeah, we were always in the game. Now that we're actually showing up to games and being more... we're definitely being a bit more, we're definitely putting up a fight from last year, which Rossline hopes to do, which I'm happy about. But our loss have only been close, but unfortunately in the end, Port got it done. Yet again, another Port win against us, so that was a bad tip. But we were in the game, so it actually wasn't that bad, probably. But Port just, of course, got the job done in the end. Moving on, the Lions versus Dockers, I got that tip right. It was a pretty easy tip here. I got 5 out of 9. It's an okay, but compared to my last rounds, I really think that... there are a couple of upsets that really let me down in the round, and this just proves that I can tip a few more upsets now. I think Lions should have got it done against the Dockers, did by 48 points, really what you're expecting. I mean, if it's at the Gabba, Lions, I think some people are expecting them to win all their games there even, so yes. Got the Sydney tip wrong, a bit of an upset, and I think this is one of the first games where there are 2 games where both sides scored over 100, so this was an okay round to watch, and yeah, Giants got it done in an upset. Bulldogs bet Hawthorn, was expecting that, got that tip right. Melbourne thrashed North Melbourne by 90 points. What you're expecting? I was expecting, a 70-pointer, but Melbourne just too strong, as we would expect, got it done. And then Carlton in the absolute thrashing, the biggest win of the year by 108 points. To be honest, I didn't think the Eagles, after playing up against sides, only losing by about 40 points, wouldn't drop 108 points, especially to a side like Carlton, who don't usually get high scores, but that is what they did. And Carlton won by 108, so credit to them. Eagles, there wasn't really any highlights for them. Tim Kelly was a superstar. I think he was playing, he's been a superstar for them this year. Yeah, not too much highlights in that game for the Eagles. Geelong got it done by Essendon by 28 points, really what we were expecting. I mean, yes, it was only a 28-point win, but I mean, let's be honest, out through all the game, the first quarter, they definitely deserved the win. Essendon, though, credit to them, they stuck up, especially in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter. They came back a bit, and this was 1 out of 2 games where both sides scored over 100, so yes. Now we move on, and the high scoring just drops, and in an upset here, Gold Coast got it done against Richmond, and Richmond this season are looking very poor. I don't think there's even one game. Yes, they've won, they've had a draw, they've had a win, and then I think they've had 5 losses. I could be wrong on that, 4 or 5 losses. But yeah, it's not looking good for Richmond at all. And they fall 16th. So credit to the Suns there. And I tipped Adelaide in a close one here. I went with the Crows by 11, but Collingwood got it done by the 1 point. Side bottom missed, which really could have costed them. But I mean, they only had a 32nd league, and really, when you think about it, Adelaide should have won it. But credit to the Pies, they just got it done in another 1 point classic, and that's the round 7 review. So let's get into the tips now. Alright, so to get round 8 started off on Friday the 5th of May. This Friday we have the Carlton Blues taking on the Brisbane Lions at Marvel Stadium. This one, wow, what a crack it is. Both sides this season have been pretty impressive, I have to say. They've been pretty impressive, definitely. Both sides picking up a win. Brisbane by 48, and then Carlton with the thrashing, obviously, by 108. Now, in this one, I don't know. Most people maybe be predicting the Lions, but the fact that it's at Marvel and knowing that Carlton do play some good footy, their only game where it's really been poor was against the Saints, where they had that 22-point loss. Just were really poor and never really, up until halftime, just weren't really great against us. But this one's actually going to be hard, but you never know here. I'm going to go predict the Blues by... I'm going to go the Blues here in a close one. I think this one will be close, but I'm going to go the Blues by 15 points. I think they can get it done here in an absolute thriller. Perfect Friday night game, but I just think the Blues at Marvel, they can push for the win. That 108-point win just looks so convincing. Charlie Curnow is just a star. Kicked, I think, how much was it? 7 or 8 goals, I don't know. But I heard he kicked a lot, and I think they'll just be a little too strong for them. And my big call is that Brisbane are leading at three-quarter time by 2 points. Moving on, we have Richmond and the Eagles taking each other on at the MCG. Now, this one, both sides have been, as of late, very disappointing, I have to say. And to be honest, this game is coming down to evens. You'd think Richmond here, but this game's starting just to become more even, because Richmond have really been poor, and Eagles have only had one win this season as well. But, yeah, had that win against Giants, obviously, in round 2. But this one's actually, I think, you have the fact that it's at the MCG, Eagles' injuries just doesn't help them out. Even though the chances are trying to become more even, you just have to go Richmond. Like, if they don't win this game, they're already gone, I know, but, if they don't win this game, there's something wrong with them. They have to win it. Against West Coast, you just have to win. I'm going to go the Tigers here, and I'm going to go the Tigers by 45 points. I think they'll be hungry. They'll come. They'll get the job done. Don't think it will be another thrashing. I think the Eagles will play it up just at the MCG. I think Richmond will be too strong for the Eagles in this match. Moving on now to a game being played at GMHBA. It's the Cats taking on the Crows in quite a good clash, to be honest. Both sides, as of late, have been very, very good. Geelong had that poor start, but really have turned their season around. Now, I'm pretty sure they go 4-3. Yes, they do. They've just come off 4 wins in a row now. So did the Crows, but the Pies ended their streak by 1. It was a pretty low-scoring game, and I think Adelaide were leading by 26 at quarter time, so they really deserve to win that one. It wasn't a bad tip, to be honest, tipping Adelaide. Now I think I should tip them more. However, though, considering it's at GMHBA, you just got to tip the Cats here. I think, the Crows are starting to drop off a little, but against Collingwood, I have to say they were pretty strong. I mean, you can't say that they weren't strong against a Pies outfit, who this year are expected to possibly even play, and I think they're now premiership favourites, sitting on top of the ladder, of course, Collingwood. But this is not what we're talking about. We're not talking about the Pies here. We're talking about the Crows and Geelong, and I think the Cats will get it done here in, a fairly close one, but I don't know if it's going to be that close. I'm going to go Geelong by 31 points. I don't think they'll thrash them in any sort of way, but I just think that at GMHBA, the Geelong will be too strong in this one. Moving on, at Heritage Bank Stadium, I hate calling it that, it's the Metricon, but we have Gold Coast taking on the Demons at Metricon. This one, I think, yes, you lean more towards Melbourne, but you never know what the Suns can do at Metricon. They are a great side. Of course, had that poor start, weren't really even anything at Metricon. But they bet the Cats down there. They were pretty good in that game here. But I'm just going to lead more towards Melbourne here. I'm going to go the D's by 41. Just think they'll get it done. Too strong, and yeah, they'll keep their season flowing to possibly be premiership favourites. I think Melbourne, Collingwood are really the premiership favourites this year. Let's be honest. I'm going to go the D's in that one. Next game at Manuka Oval. I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it is. It makes sense how you say it, Manuka Oval. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. The Giants have been... I have to say, let's just get started on the Giants. Really, I think maybe I was expecting the Giants not to do much this year, and even though they've had losses, they've been close, and they've just come off a win against Sydney by 1 point. I'm pretty sure at the SCG. I'm pretty sure it was at the SCG, which was unbelievable. I couldn't believe that the Giants did that one. It was an upset. They both scored over 100. I think that's the Giants' second game they've scored over 100. The Giants actually haven't been too bad. Of course, as we know as of late, the Bulldogs, on the other hand, got an expected win against Hawthorn by 32 points. I mean, you're versing the Hawks. You've got to get a win there. The Bont just coming off his 200th game. I actually wasn't really watching that one, but I did see the scores in the bottom corner, and it looked like Hawks were actually fairly in that one, I think they were leading once by 17 in the first half. It's not like they were never really not in the game, but the Bulldogs just kind of took over, and it was kind of just one of those poor games where, the Bulldogs would just sit there, kick a couple of goals, and, it was just one of those Bulldogs games where they get the win by like 30 points. In this one, though, considering it's at Monica here, I'm actually going to go in an upset. I'm going to go in the upset. Giants just been really impressive for me as of late. I'm going to go the Giants here. I'm going to go them in a close one. I'm going to go the Giants, this one, by 5 points. I really think that if it's at Monica Oval, they'll want to win here. I don't think they've got a win even at the Monica Oval this season. So surely they need to win this one. I think it's the Bulldogs, though. They'll be up for it. Yeah, so I'm going to go predict the Giants in that one. Moving on now at Optus Stadium, Fremantle versus Hawthorn. Now, you'd think the Dockers Stadium form, this is already Dockers, but no. This one is really a 50-50 game. Hawthorn, as of late, yes, they've had losses, but they've been quite close. They definitely stuck it up to the Dogs, as I just said. But in this one, it's definitely 50-50 here, but you just got to go the Dockers. I'm going to go the Dockers by 9 points, and my big call is that both teams score the same amount of goals. It's just Fremantle's behinds that saved them in this one. I really think that Freo will kick quite a few behinds in this one, and I think the Hawks can stick it up to them, and they will challenge Fremantle, but you just can't go past Fremantle at Optus Stadium. When you're versing a side like Hawthorn these days, you got to win against them, and that's why I'm going to go the Dockers. We head over to the mighty Adelaide Oval. Port Adelaide versus the Bombers at the Adelaide Oval, 11:10 a.m. This one is it's not too easy, to be honest. Essendon, as of late, have been really disappointing. Apart from that Melbourne win, these last two rounds just have been disappointing. The game against the Geelong, yes, they were okay, but the Cats in the first half just really looked too strong. I mean, they were on 88 at halftime. It was really just a demolishing in the first half. Not a demolishing, I should say, but it really looked like, when you're versing the Cats, it's going to be hard unless you verse them in those first 3 rounds. But we were probably expecting the Cats. They got it done by 28. Credit to Essendon. They actually stuck up a bit in that game. They stood up, they showed their outfits, and it proves that Essendon aren't just going to get thrashed again like they did last year against Port Adelaide, I'm pretty sure, by 84 points. They're actually going to be in more games, and you can tell that they're improving now. They're only losing by a little bit. They're starting to win a few more games. They're definitely improving. However, though, considering it's at the Adelaide Oval, you can't really go past Port Adelaide here. And when you're versing Essendon, you never know what could happen. But Essendon, I don't know what they're going to do. But in this one, I'm going to go the Power, and I'm going to go the Power by 23 points. I think they'll be able to get the job done in this one, and I'm going to go the Power, yes, by 23 points. Moving on to the MCG, Collingwood versus the Swans. And, Sydney have been really disappointing. I mean, you lost against the Giants, yes, by 1 point, but come on, it's at the SCG. You got to be playing your best footy, I'm pretty sure was there. You can't be losing against the Giants, and, they've had quite big disappointing losses lately from Sydney. I know they do have quite a few injured players, so they're just dealing with that, but still got thrashed by the Cats, got done by the Giants by a point and lost to Melbourne, I think. I think they might have had one more loss, I don't know, but the Swans, you never know what could happen in this game, and Collingwood looked very strong. Well, I shouldn't say that. They weren't really in that game. They were in the game, but it was fairly close. In this one, I'm going to go the Pies. I really think they can get it done. Sydney just been too disappointing for my liking. I'm going to go the Pies here, and I'm actually going to go the Pies I really am. I'm going to go the Pies by 5 points. I think they'll hold on here. I just got to predict them to stay up top of that ladder. I think it'll be a close one, and Sydney will be the better side from most people's point of view. But I really think the Pies can get it done in another thriller of a close one. I'm going to go the Pies by 5 points. Moving on now, we have the last game of the round. My Saints taking on North Melbourne. This one's pretty easy. I'm just going to tip the Saints. North Melbourne at the start of the season obviously looked convincing, winning against sides like West Coast, and I think it was Fremantle. But of course they were really Fremantle one was quite a bit of an upset. Their wins were only by 5 and 1 point, which really just shows North Melbourne are kind of back to their form. However, haven't been the most disappointing side in the comp, nor have St Kilda. I think this year we're definitely playing our better footy. This one, you just really can't go past us. I think we're too strong for North Melbourne in this one. I'm going to go us to win it by 37 points. I really think we can get it done, and we should get it done, hopefully, being at Marvel Stadium. And yes, I'm going to go us by 31 points. Now to get into the reviews. So I tipped the Blues in this one, tipped Richmond, went with Geelong, went with Melbourne, went with the Giants, went with Fremantle, went with Port Adelaide, went with Collingwood, and then went with St Kilda. So that is going to end this video on that note. And yes, please like and subscribe if you enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.